more rehearsed, spend that time to try and sort some of these things out. And so this is one of those things on whether or not Envy will be able to break the spree of losses, or if all of the Challengers teams have started to finally figure out how to counter this massive juggernaut in the Challengers scene.
Yeah.
And already, like, look at this Winthrop University. They're expecting this aggression. They kind of know the Envy play style, and they're just kind of ready to receive it, not really pushing up on any of the points.
Well, the guiding light comes out. Ali, you're going to check this. Oh, yep, and gets punished for it. Plus the follow-up. Yeah, Governor not expecting that Kane had already slipped through that. Just unfortunate timing with the initial shoulders leading to a backup through Spices. And now the action heads directly over to Inspire's direction, who finds a clean one tap, plus maybe a little bit more, but no, Infiltrator, boop, bop, beep, able to find his way into the back line and find the Ghost upgrade.
Yeah, and so they should be able to run this spike over, but Envy are already here, so this is not going to be for free. This is still going to be a tough play for Winthrop University as Ion finds one.
Over the top difficult, but that's a little easier. And how about it? Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't want to just, you know, sell the farm too early here, but that just comes down to poor timing, unfortunately, for Ollie trying to check over through mid.
Yeah, it really does. Like, it's one of those moments where they're all spread out. They're all waiting to play contact, and then suddenly Ollie just pops out, and it's a little bit too late. Governor as well, not really anticipating it. And once again, the desk highlighted, Inspire, really good in the backline. It took a little bit of over-the-top shenanigans kind of coming through from Infiltrator to make sure that that kill was found. So a very clean Envy-esque pistol round as they kind of just run at Winthrop University. And this time around, it's going to be Infiltrator finding Exeter first.
Yep. Follow-up for Moob's good. How about this? In a round that should not be going like this. It's looking very comfortable for the early.
Oh, geez.
Well, now, okay. Wow. Well, I was about to say it's a very uncomfortable 3v5, but blink and you miss it. It's Kanzera down to themselves. And this little bit of forced aggression from Envy gets immediately counteracted and punished. Winthrop looking strong with the free weapon upgrades. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's awkward. Yep. Okay, okay, come on, guys. Kanzera finds two. Spike's still not down. Bucky in hand.
Spike planted.
Molly's still available as well. Spy cam deleted. Smoke will fade in a moment. Then, well, try to use it for cover to surprise a little bit deeper into the site. Not going to happen. It's a thrifty round for Winthrop. A lot of that by way of just, what, 2 sheriffs? Everything else, I think it was classics in that round.
Yeah, that was... I was gonna say, look at Winthrop University. They've got the read on this one. It's looking so good. They're all grouped up. There's no way Kanzera should be able to find more than one. And yet still, they're just all turned in the wrong direction, not anticipating that Brimstone to kind of come from behind. And so able to slap a couple of guns out, but it's okay. Winthrop University still will be able to bonus here. But we do see Envy. They're actually going to save into this next one. Just a little bit of a buy up, though, to try and equal things out, but it's a half buy across both these teams.
Well, opening shots initially good. Oh, the stim beacon works out for Kanzera to take the aggressive angle. And that's going to be enough for now numbers to start to head over to Envy's direction. Kanzera almost with a follow-up, but Infiltrator punishes, and now we've got ourselves a 3v3, and this is looking like a TDF.
Honestly, Exeter now spawning out at least one. But yeah, like at this point, it's just Winthrop University anticipating that Envy are going to get over aggressive, anticipating that Envy are going to try and flank them on all these. And so they just play together, play off of one another, and try and utilize those long angles in their favor. They hadn't even really moved from spawn and already found 3 picks.
Maybe an opportunity for Inspire, depending on the timing, to put a pause to this hit through A main. Exeter would not be here to slow it down any further.
30 seconds
There's
left.
Infiltrator blast packing across to the site. Inspire feeling the pressure, momentary knife, hits the headshot, but at that range, only a touch more than a tickle. And then this immediate play through the teleporter. And he's gonna try to follow it, but Winthrop too wise to it. Punish, and now it's just down to what Exeter could do from inside the smoke and Molly combo, and no, not gonna happen there.
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, it was getting a little bit too close for comfort there because we see actually Governor, who's holding the spike, cancels for a second as Exter walks through. If that was a clone, that could have been bad because I don't know if there would have been enough time after for the plant to come through. Winthrop University, they get yet another round, able to carry forwards quite a bit. They will be buying up to supplement the lost weapon, but this is going to be Envy now having enough rifles. So the game plan from Winthrop University has truly just been, hey, they're going to push us. Let's just get ready for that push and trap them. But at some point, we need to see them kind of take the reins into their own hands.
Mali out early here for the defense. This infiltrator going to be seen. Canes backing up, and there's at least enough opportunity for a trade to come through. But Lamps, U-Halt, that's going to be an issue here for Envy's defense, especially considering that it is just down to Ion playing on top of bench. Finds one. That's not terrible. It slows down the plant and allows the defense some more time to come over. Good flash. Gate crash not going to come through in time. Inspire up top. Able to find one. I believe they know that moves is down low. It just comes down to the timing of this double swing. And how about it? Inspire finds one more over the top of Truck, for crying out loud. Unreal stuff, 2-2 the count.
Yeah, these guys are aimers. If anyone doubted that, well, that round definitely showcases that. I liked the idea from Winthrop, though. You know, we know that they're going to wait for us to comfortably plant, try and disrupt us. Simple. We'll just walk towards them, and you can see them catching a couple of the members of Envy off guard. Infiltrator's just really sending it, taking Cainzera out before it begins. But once again, it almost feels like a deathmatch, exactly like you said, in these moments. And when it comes down to those moments, that's when Envy really get to shine. Winthrop need to dig into their pockets to rely on that utility. That seems to be the way that previous teams have shut down Envy before.
Showstopper out, doesn't really do too much. Infiltrator in some big trouble as the spam continued throughout the entirety of that cyber cage. Now the orbital strike, well placed, well positioned, separates the offense completely. And now Ollie's in some major trouble here. The whole force of Envy trying to run him down. They eventually find him. And well, Glyph, who's been on a solo mission this entire round, has to really go rogue here to try to make this happen.
At this point, I wonder if Glyph just tries to save this rifle moving forwards. The economy on Winthrop's side, not necessarily looking the best. We see Envy really kind of go into their a big bro style of gameplay where they just are like, you know what, I think I can win these duels, and just decide to go in. But we can see Envy really changing their play style, adapting as we've gone throughout Split 3, which is very important to mention because
30 seconds left.
The coordination coming through on some of the utility, especially alongside the orbital strike, was immaculate. It supported their play style of being that aggressive, and it worked out perfectly because it opens up this wide gap in the attack from Winthrop University. So an excellently called round and an excellently coordinated round coming through from Envy to secure their third.
Toxin screen down.
Well, Envy have really set the tone here in the full buy rounds. And for Winthrop, it's one of those things like you're starting to see the aggression that you would expect from Envy find the success that you would want to when you draft up a playbook. You know, the force plays that we're starting to see with like 2-3-man hits that are not really trap in nature, but they're playing aggressively to where Winthrop have to clear every single corner lest they get punished. So it kind of slows down Winthrop's intended approach. So we'll see how they try to handle that. In that round, it was kind of a blind showstopper, just trying to connect them to something. But here it's going to be just, again, that same idea that they had from the anti-eco, where they're just pushing through showers as a huge man hit. Guiding light is being held. Boombot out. Both get deleted, and Eggster finds a pick in the process. That is a 3-for-1 right there.
And you can see that the trap was getting set up. They were ready to flash, ready to move in, send Infiltrator in. It was going to be great. And it's just the spray down from Eggster, understanding what might be coming through, allows that to happen. And immediately Winthrop University stopped where they couldn't even start. Glyph, though, going to try and take this timing on Cainzera. Finds it perfectly. Ion on the other side. Glyph just running amok on the site.
Killed them.
Eventually shut down. Smoke placed. Should allow for Governor to get the plant off. Post-plant tool available in form of the Molly from Ollie. So there will have to be some sort of an Envy negotiation for getting deeper behind this plant, you would think. Seeker's denied by Poppin. Dimensional Drift is going to come through, and if they find information on Ollie, that'd be huge. Not the case. Molly being held. Shot from moves will land. Neural Theft now earned. Huge information gain here for Winthrop, who can just hold these corners and play the crossfire. Well done to find Inspire, and Poppin's got nowhere to go. Huge post-plant success, largely thanks to moves off the Sheriff shot. And Poppin's just not going to have time to make this play happen.
Oh boy, I mean, okay, so let's break down what ultimates got utilized by Envy on that last one. We see it's gonna be these Seekers going through, in addition to Extra going into the Dimensional Drift. And I have to wonder, if you're launching both of those ultimates at the same time, usually you're using one of them or the other to find information as to where the players might be hiding. The only solution I can come up with was that was supposed to be a big reposition from Eggster to kind of pinch in on different sides here, but Moobs just so ready for it, not afraid to take that duel, finds the Sheriff headshot, and that seals the deal for Envy on that round. So great stuff from Winthrop University, really standing their ground against, once again, Titans from Envy. You know these guys can shoot extremely effectively, so the resilience from Winthrop to try and take that bull horn for horn on is it's looking good, and so that's why we're tied up now 3-3.
Time to hunt.
Trailblazer to scout out the front at B. Does not get into the way of any of those traps, so all things relatively comfortable for the two defenders on site. Everything is going as intended. Meanwhile, Toxic Screen could allow some step-ups here for Winthrop at mid. Spike is now making its way back through Spice over to this direction, but this is where the heavy stack is. You heard the pop flash from Extra to clear showers. He gate crashes back to safety, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, the forward pressure that Envy's put on the map forces Winthrop to have to check every single corner. They have not done that correctly. Now everyone is vulnerable thanks to a well-played snake bite, and Envy are looking good for their fourth.
Just like Ash said on the desk, Ion, consistency, always coming through and not afraid to take risks, is somehow consistent while taking those risks. And we see just maximum value achieved on this round. Ion not only able to get one, but the snake bite comes out, makes everybody vulnerable, sets up Kane Zera to have a triple kill, which obviously looks very flashy for Kane Zera, but simply would not be possible if not for Ion being so pesky on that A site. So a big shout out to Ion to make sure that that was a nice, easy, clean round for Envy.
Well, these phantom shots at the door don't do too much, so the extra elimination from Infiltrator will be tallied. Operator will be held. Purchase will be largely fine, except for Governor in this next round. So Winthrop are going to take a pause and think about how they want to try to handle this. And I think a lot of it really is just, you know, the immediate pressure that Envy is forcing onto the initiation of execution for Winthrop. It's been so many of these battles that Winthrop have not been able to enter, you know, as cleanly as they'd like, whether that be someone hiding into a corner and going 1-for-1 at worst, or situations like this, where it's just like you're trying to clear out space, the guiding light, the boom bot, the kill comes through, plus the gate crash back. It's just, it's messier than Winthrop want, I think is the issue right now.
It really is, and this is the thing, like, you can see these moments where they're making setup plays to try and counter the Envy play style with, you know, where they're setting things up, making sure that they're playing off of one another so that they can kind of punish that over-aggression from Envy. But at the end of the day, like, Envy, sure, they're coming in with a game plan, but their players are not afraid to take those risks. Not afraid to be the hero for the team. As a matter of fact, sometimes it seems like all of them want to be the hero for the team, all looking for these opportunities. And no matter how much prep you kind of go in to this map with, you're still going to be caught off guard occasionally. So I want to see Winthrop University continue to stick with their guns, with their prep that they came into this one, because they will continue to find moments where they can pressure Envy. They just have to find those moments come through.
Well, I like this idea where you've got an operator in play on Glyph, who at the moment is really out of the picture. He's just making sure no one's flanking. But if you can get a little bit of space over into U-Haul, maybe there's an opportunity for that scope to make its way over to hold Heaven. So you can allow Winthrop's offense to check their corners, not worry about what's deeper in the site. So possible opportunities there. Slow clearance of bathroom on the way. Trailblazer up through mid. See the wall up, there's the smokes. This should be the execute forward. Shotgun in play for Infiltrator. Stepping away from it is KaneZera, but cannot do so successfully, as Ion will also fall by way of the judge. So that'll work. Just smoke it, hit it, use a shotgun if they want to play up close and personal.
I mean, that was basically how they won a round previously, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Very quick and decisive from Winthrop University. And one thing to mention is the NV defense has been fairly static on how they want to set things up. Consistently, we see that Yoru hanging out in showers. Consistently, we see the Brimstone just playing around that A site or just around the truck there. And some of these are becoming a little bit more readable. And sure, Winthrop University, they start slow. NV doesn't take the bait. It's nice and patient between the two teams. But as soon as they go, like, they know exactly which points to pressure and make sure that they are holding them so that they can punish a lot of these positions that NV have consistently held on the previous rounds.
It's a good shout. Let's see if that narrative can continue, though. That's the other part about it, is Winthrop has been the team who has had to mold and adjust and adapt first. So will NV continue to try to play the same play style, or will there be counteractions on their end if things continue to unfold a little bit? Still purchase available here for NV. A couple of regenerative and short armors, but largely speaking, they're fine. Most importantly, a Viper's Pit could be added into the mix here this round for Ion. Same could be said on the other side, but the orbital strike for Ollie is the real kind of nuisance right now for how Envy would want to play this. Viper's Pit will stretch its way down mid. And now the question will be, is Ion going to play this close, or is he going to hold it onto the backside? And it looks like Winthrop's not willing to find out, as they're going to make their way over to Hookah.
Is Ion going to play close? Of course Ion's going to play close. This is Envy we're talking about. But KaneZera holding an angle, immediately dinked out there. And yeah, orbital strike coming through next. But no real follow-up from Winthrop University, just quite yet.
Well, that does force popping into sight. A little bit of pressure in the mix. The flash actually connects, but Winthrop still find the win. Inspire has been flamed out from being able to contest early. Cyber Cage trying to sit there and say, hey, look at me, I'm in sight. Not actually the case. He's going to clear elbow instead. And Ion's Pit, which has expended, well, now he finds himself stuck in teleporter. So unless Inspire can find something from the front and turn into a neural theft, this round is likely not going to amount to too much here for NB.
Cage triggered.
Yeah, this is really tough as well. Like, all the Cypher utility there. The fact that, you know, Winthrop University were totally expecting Ion to do that really just kind of seals the nail in the coffin for them. There's no way that Inspire is going to be able to meet up with the Viper. And as soon as Ion hops in there, you can see that it's just a panic. Like, two people are watching that teleporter to make sure that nothing can happen, and they will watch it all the way to the grave. Winthrop University, excellent round from them, very proactive. If you're going against Envy, you have to take those proactive opportunities.
Yeah.
An aggressive orbital strike, an aggressive push through Hookah, that is going to find your moments to take Envy out. And once again, just a really good strategy coming in to try and take this bull right on the horns.
So now Envy's time to talk about it after trying it once more, at least trying the same play style again. This time it doesn't really work out for them. Again, even though it may not have looked like full connection off of things like the orbital strike, Winthrop got the breakdown that they wanted to, forcing Poppin in towards the crate or container around the site itself. So things worked out for Winthrop. And Envy, who we've continued to talk about, they favor trying to play a little bit more contest heavy. May need to try to find some sort of a more reactive play style here, because so far it really has just kind of been on to Kane to pause Winthrop as best as they possibly can. We also saw the Stim Beacon supplying some immediate support to him as well to help get to those 8 eliminations that he's holding on to. But 3 of the last 4 have been pretty darn convincing for Winthrop. The only thing that really obviously stays in the way is round 7. That ended up being a 2v4 save. So trends are starting to shift. Money is not great, but enough to purchase for the most part here for Envy. So advantage to Winthrop, kind of, but 2 operators now in play. Eggster going to bring on the special weapon.
That's crazy. Going for an operator on your team when Poppin only has a guardian in hand, but you got to shake something up here, and it's so interesting to see how Winthrop like to engage with this already, just ready to punish things just like that.
I mean, the smoke is down.
Here.
The stim beacon is immediately placed as if he was expecting,
Here.
I don't know, another piece of utility to help out with that. Difficult read on what that play was for Cainzera, but whatever it was is immediately counteracted, and now Winthrop find themselves the number advantage, and there's no smokes in play. So yeah, why not make your way back over to A, break down the site with smokes of your own, avoid the Cypher, and play the 5v3. Flash out early. Poppin would have to find something. Eggster's able to connect once. That slows down the play just a touch, but Infiltrator's made his way onto site. Crossed up though, Ion able to get a second. Is there more available for Ion? Sure is. He finds himself two, but now you got a shorty for Glyph. Trying to move quickly, but Eggster connects with the classic. And we'll get a 5-5 tally. What a hold by Ion.
Yeah, it's Ion all day. Questionable stuff coming through from Cainzera, taking that teleporter very preemptively, was probably hoping to find a timing, but once again, Winthrop University not necessarily setting up a trap, but just so ready for it. They're like, oh yeah, you know, as soon as Infiltrator kind of makes noise, someone will take teleporter, and then they immediately punish that. And Ion goes completely uncontested just by showers, and no one really did anything until the wraparound happened. Disjointed from Winthrop University, showing a thread, and Envy pulled it to completely unravel the game plan.
Well, here we go. Quick contest early for Envy, packing off though. Not wanting to give away too much. So the play over at Showers holds, at least for now. Both Vipers feeling each other out. Meanwhile, Spike is not a part of anything right now for Winthrop. They're also trying to feel things through the middle of the map, and they will find Eggster. Maybe a follow-up from Glyph. Snakebite to try to pause on this play. Cainzera actually takes a significant amount of damage, but that's in the effort of pushing through. Would Winthrop expect this? They do. Yeah. And the punish is in Winthrop now with the numbers.
Once again, it's just like the anticipation. Cainzera kind of feels like a dog off the leash. You know the dog is going to get the job done most of the time. But if you're ready for this, then you can punish it nice and easily. The timings that he's been trying to take have gotten immediately shut down. But Ion, once again, anchoring this site alone, up against all five.
Well, Showstopper out. Infiltrator connects onto Ion. That should pretty much guarantee the round. As Poppin has already recovered the operator. Maybe you give it one peek from heaven because you can still collect it again, but yeah, it looks like they're just going to try to find some overextension kills if possible. This will likely be a save. So Winthrop will head to the last round of the half with a pretty significant advantage. The Viper's Pit still is available for Glyph. It's obviously hard to use it, but it'll be available. Operator may actually not be saved here. Yeah, Poppin will drop. Follow-up from Inspire is not good enough, and Governor actually packs a huge punch there. Flawless round for Winthrop. Seekers are now earned because of that. And honestly, Envy are not really going to be able to purchase much.
Honestly, okay, I'm just gonna put my cards on the table here. I'm happy that Governor got those 2 kills because I feel like Governor has been struggling, to say the least, after that tier 1 little shenanigans happening, coming into tier 2, joining Winthrop University. Still hasn't looked as sharp as you really would have expected the player to have, but we're starting to see Governor fit into Winthrop University a little bit more, and just seeing one of those like little highlight plays that helps build your confidence with the squad, which I think is extremely important to try and pull together a bit of a semblance of the expectations that a lot of people have had for that player.
Well, this is an interesting round here because even though the purchase is not great for Envy, they do have a dimensional drift that could get them back into the mix quickly and up close and personal quickly thanks to the orbital strike. So there are the right tools to allow things like a Bucky and a Stinger to still do okay. And it looks like Winthrop are going to respect that. Trying to feel things out, show some force at B long. Now the Seekers are going to get called, and that should allow for the take at Hookah. Cyber traps at the bottom ledge, and of course the cage blocking vision still has Winthrop saying, nope, not interested.
Right now, like, they're just working the map. Envy have kind of gotten wishy-washy between A, between B. And if Governor finds this kill, this should open things up. Keep in mind, though, Cypher traps are going to be extremely deadly. Inspire ready to pop.
Well, yeah, that trap is perfect. Inspire's able to find one. The orbital strike to stop any follow-up. And the site will still be owned by Envy, and even more so as Winthrop's still trying to force the square peg into the round hole. I mean, they had no business trying a third hit, really a secondary hit through hookah like that. Tried to just maybe catch Envy a bit off guard, doesn't work, and it's a 6-6 half as we swap the sides.
Yeah, 6-6. I mean, great analogy, honestly. It didn't look like this was going to be the one. There was so much that they had to kind of pull out from Envy, and Envy this time around show a lot more restraint in the round. And I think that that is the main reason why it works out, because you're forced down based off the timer to push into the site. You got no other choice with how little time you have left. And that's when we see all the utility come through from Envy. And it just is, it makes their gunplay a lot easier when you discombobulate your team like that. So excellent change of pace from Envy to take us to the 6-6 half.
Yeah.
And now they're on the attack, and I'm excited for this one.
And I think you're looking at this, and I'm sure there are plenty of Envy fans in Twitch that are saying attack-sided map, lol W. So we'll see. That has been a bit of a, I won't say like concern for Envy. They've done well, especially with the addition of putting together the Yoru. They had a 6-6 half when they played Lander a couple of weeks ago. So similar idea, but see if they can continue to provide the success that they need. Infiltrate up close and personal. Decoy actually going to provide the utility that it needs. Moves is trying to swing onto that. Not going to work. Ion with the follow-up off the mid-pinch. And it leaves it just to Governor, who, to be fair, is in a pretty decent spot, but does not expect extra, holding back. And the trade is in. Numbers with Envy on the pistol towards A.
Ali and Glyph left up against 4. Extra very low HP, though, so Ali finds that pick. That's going to be huge for them. Spike goes down.
Always able to find one, but it takes a significant amount of damage in the process. So eyes to Glyph. This ghost could be punishing, and it's just a peek from KaneZera that hits not once but twice. So pistol goes to Envy, advantage as we start the second half.
Yeah, and that's how you kind of want to start this half off. Envy able to take that. KaneZera almost kind of reminding me of Demon 1 back on EG, where the, Demon 1 peak was like killing people at VCT, and then on specific maps will swap onto that role, the Brimstone, and we're kind of seeing very similar stuff. They mentioned it on the desk as well. Very consistent, even when playing Brim. Sure, we've seen a couple of overextensions, but still, we know that this guy can shoot and find those heads necessary, especially on when things are more on the attacking side for Envy.
Battle here for Ali. Dog in the middle of all of it, and Infiltrator, as the focus shifts back to mid, is able to connect for a headshot. Now stepping up, flashes, nades, everything littering the front side of A, but Envy have the numbers on the crossfire side of Glyph, trying to make a mess of it, but cannot connect. And the overheal will allow transition through teleporter to work, and would you look at Ion holding the teleporter, and Moobs has no choice but to try to make their way forward. So 8-6 the count. Winthrop trying to force the action close and personal. Does not work. Envy under the strong bonus.
And honestly, we're seeing some of the mistakes from Winthrop University that we saw from Envy on their defense, where, like we've been talking about in that first half, we know that Winthrop University have to be a little bit more proactive. They have to charge Envy full on and play as aggressively as them if they want to find those timings to punish them. And yet still we see them going through into these very chaotic scenarios, and well, Envy are just going to win out on top of it, especially given the fact that they've got their stacks ready to go on this offense.
Infiltrator, whoa, what a set of shots on Infiltrator. Stops the performance through bathrooms, and now Moobs is sitting here thinking, uh-oh, am I good? Trades were fast, they were furious, and yeah, that late spy cam will reveal that he should be fine. So 2v3 situation. Envy going to be struggling to really work with the next set of action, thanks largely to the traps that are in the way.
And I think it was Roy who said that Inspire a little bit of a loose cannon, and Winthrop University do an excellent job playing off of it. Retreated to a bit of a loose cannon, but also a glass cannon right at that point. Governor, though, excellent position, finds Inspire and makes that almost impossible as Moobs closes out that round. A great response from Winthrop.
But in the face of a bonus. So again, the punish for Envy's all right. I think they would take that going into, well, I would say full purchase here, but they also did purchase up a lot in the bonus and then also into the anti-eco prior. So weapons will be a little bit weakened here. On the other side of things, yeah, full rifles, but a couple of light armors. So there is an opportunity for Envy to still find some damage with the numbers, but that is an impressive hold for Infiltrator, holding in the corner, getting 2. And from there, Winthrop just too comfortable on site. So Envy still trying to play with that upscaled tempo that we often see them play at. But Winthrop are saying not so fast. Back to a 1-round game.
Oh, Glyph, that's so daring, but finds Inspire in the midst of all of it. Inspire usually good for those, but shut down so early on. Ion going for the wraparound, but Envy should be able to capture that site and should be able to get the spike down.
Well, Ion's going to give this another go. Noise being made by KaneZera. That could be an opportunity as Eggster gets deep into the site unexpectedly. Now the teleporter boy, Ion, in a perfect position to get a read on it. And oh, the shots through the side of the wall. Land for the headshot, and what looked to be Winthrop in a perfect setup to deal with all of that ends up being Eggster again, breaking things from out of nowhere.
You know, Shift, I'm wondering why it's always so fun to watch an Envy game, no matter which team they face, right? And I think it comes down to just escalations of tempos in aggression. We see consistently Envy has to force the other team to play more aggressively, otherwise they're not going to be able to match their tempo. The other team increases their tempo, which means that Envy have to respond just in kind. It's so explosive, and it's just going to continue to escalate as these maps continue. Inspire winning it right back, but Infiltrator trading it. KaneZera finding that trade back, and so Envy find themselves at a person advantage.
Still have a rifle for Glyph. But the Trailblazer scouts him out. Guiding light to follow. Moob's able to largely negate that. Ali mid spices. A little bit of damage onto Ion, giving him a workout, but respect on both sides. Weapons will be moved around and juggled up to Sands to make that essentially unattainable for Ali. But this is not going to be a comfortable hit, as Envy would hope in a 4v3, especially considering that Glyph is still holding tight.
This wraparound from Ali could be good, but still is a little bit of a tall task here, as Envy are left scratching their heads for a second. They should be able to initiate on the site. Glyph, though, with a rifle, a big difference at least slowing it down. They are set up, though, to hop through teleporter if things get dicey.
Here comes the play. Glyph moves dealt with quickly.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, perfect setup in terms of how you set yourself up for at least some sort of a battle, but can't happen. So you see it. Vandal will be collected. Ali, this is the good old-fashioned heave-ho college try, but KaneZera is in his way, and Envy find themselves up to double digits and gaining a little bit of daylight now between them and Winthrop on this map.
Yeah, that's 4 rounds in their attacking half thus far. You see, like, when it comes down to just the raw gunfight, Envy don't lose that. I don't know that there's another team at the moment, maybe Qbert Academy, with how good they've been looking lately, that are able to take just an honest gunfight against Envy. And you see the results of it on the actual site. Sure, Winthrop University didn't necessarily have the guns, but off of no utility really, Envy just walk in and they just decimate everybody hanging out there. So clean stuff from Envy, what we would expect from them as Inspire lurks up, but this B side has been very heavily favored from this Envy attack thus far.
I've got your
Have to have this one for Winthrop. Showstopper, Operator, in hand for Infiltrator. Seekers for Governor at the ready, and he's already through caves. But the Viper's Pit makes a bit of a mess over towards the side at elbow. And Infiltrator, well, he may not be able to get out of teleporter here. Blast packs across and sets up Governor for the freebie. Now to the other side, Glyph finds one. Seekers are gonna make a mess of the backside of the site. Showstopper to follow. Blindly tossed into the pit, does not work. Ion still holding, full HP. Ion still in position to try to contest the spike on top of that. In position as well as KaneZera. Orbital Strike is at the ready, and he's ready to pop it. All it takes is a bit of a toggle. Governor gets a trade, but is it too late? It's just down to Kane. First shot good, to the 1v1 with Ali. Playing in the corner, trying to kill the time. Jumping over the side. Shorty out. Not going to happen. Kane Zera finds the 1v2 clutch, and NV get to 11.
Oh, man. That didn't feel good. I'm not going to lie. You see Ali ready for the 1v1 revenge coming through. Kane Zera just hopping around like, oh, no, this is not going to work out well for me. And still is able to call a reload in the middle of all of that. And Ali swaps the pistol, but just can't quite get the timing on those right clicks to come through. I do admit, I do think it was a little bit preemptive from Kane Zera to drop the orbital strike amidst that Viper's fit. But it was, once again, these chaotic clashes that we get to be treated to because of these two teams. It's always such a treat to watch. And even though it looks like right now Envy are really running away with the scoreline, a lot of these rounds have been very, very, very close. And I think that once again just comes down to Winthrop University trying to match the pace of Envy, but also utilizing their utility to make sure that they can kind of call out some of the members of Envy when they go for that over-aggression, over-rotation moments.
Well, this is a huge advantage for Envy. In what felt like a must-win round for Winthrop, they're going to follow up by coming out of a timeout and with really nothing but a couple of pistol upgrades and a Guardian. Oof. Huge oof, to be sure. So Envy are threatening the ability of taking Winthrop's map pick. A bold choice as the desk had brought into play the first kind of go-around, talking about they thought they had cooked up something against Envy's very, I mean, well-hidden composition on this map. They've only played this map once, and it was versus Lander, which you can have your opinions about that, but it's not working right now. Something's got to change.
And I just want to say too, like, I don't know necessarily if Moobs' utility has been doing a really good job at slowing down Winthrop, or sorry, Envy from pushing in onto these sites. They're just kind of shooting the traps and walking through.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, Inspire holding off. We'll see Ali playing inside of showers. But will the recognition be there that next to him is Infiltrator? Governor, good long-range shot, but traded 4v4. Smoke's down. Defense going to gain a little bit of space and actually give an opportunity for Glyph to clear hookah and step up in it. So Envy will have to make a tough decision here with 45. And as soon as the smoke fades, are we committed to A, or are we going to try to feel things out and maybe hit a teleporter back to B?
Just playing with their food at this point. Finally, the creep up is starting to happen. In position to plant, but
30 seconds
no
left.
one biting. It's just a standstill, a stalemate on this A site.
Here comes the plant. Orbital strike to fall it back. Here it goes. Are they going to hit the teleporter? No, they're sticking. Secondary attempt. Poison Cloud embellishes the front side of truck. Ion trying to feel things out backside of the crates, but Winthrop are there, and they're unexpectedly stacked up. The spike does get planted on this, but you've got the flank now in play. Glyph and Inspire into a top 1v1. And Inspire wins it. Neuroptot's going to come through. Now over to Poppin's direction. Good reveal. Boombot able to get into the mix, but Ali for the trade. Just down to Inspire for a 1v2 of his own. Shots over the top. Good for the first, not the second. Moob stays alive with 6 HP and keeps Winthrop kicking.
Wow, Moob, 6 HP in a dream. I was gonna say that was a crazy flick just coming through the spray transfer to cut someone's head in the midst of all of that from Inspire. Inspirational stuff right there, but it all just comes down to just some timings. That really was just Winthrop University playing disciplined. And when it comes to those disciplined plays, you can see Envy are just kind of itching to move forward. So they're itching for something to happen. And that's why it kind of came down to it. They know that the orbital strike is just on the other side. They waited way too long to tap that spike to force out that ultimate in what should have been a nice and easy plan. The fact that they waited made it so that they did get down to the wire as it did, allowing that opening for Winthrop University. Now, rifles across the board, Dimensional Drift already online. A site is wide open for the taking.
Yeah. Winthrop, in terms of retake, well, if they even play for the retake, and the spike is not on site right now, there's a very real world where a lot of this defensive setup could actually get into play to contest the backside of the site. Exer throwing in a little bit of utility to try to give some, at least, leniency. And, oh gosh, another moment where Egg is just spamming out utility, ends up coming away with the cancellation and the kill. Ion shuts down the play at Heaven. Poppin will eventually plant. And now you've got a long bench angle from Ion to help out Exter's position. Governor will get into lamps and almost has an even battle with Ion, who gets the kill with the last shot. So Glyph 1v3, yeah, difficult decision here. You can see the 0 credits for Infiltrator. Governor will be able to afford, but you have to save this rifle and play for OT.
Yeah, it's such an uncomfortable positioning that we're seeing Winthrop University kind of get put into there. I mean, it just comes down to the overwhelmingness. Okay, we just have to take these timies and try to win them out, but they're more or less on dry swings because Governor is the only one who can really flash for Winthrop University to try and slow them down to push through things. But even then, it feels like Envy just have protocols in place ready to avoid the flashes and make sure that they can kind of punish it. So Envy, they find themselves on map point right now on Winthrop University's map pick here. I can't believe Infiltrator got killed through the Trailblazer with a headshot off of that from Egster. That's unreal.
It's twice we've seen that kind of interaction from Egster. So to battle to get one step closer to OT, Winthrop will have 2 rifles, 2 sheriffs, and a stinger. No ultimates. How key would something like a Viper's Pit be right now? Eggs able to find the opener. Heal's going to come through and he's going to get an orb. Not that it really amounts to too much. Teleport will be hit, at least by Egster and his decoy. Those sound cues may have Winthrop a little bit weary over what's happening at A, but the spy cam inside a shower will obviously reveal that nothing is happening. Egster finds another with the teleport back over to Moobs. There is at least one elimination for Glyph, who's going to have to go just Giga Chat mode here in the back of the site. Not going to happen. Ollie by themselves, and he's being held by a trapwire and Spire. Not looking good for Winthrop. And there it is. Final shot lands. Envy takes map number 1. Winthrop's bold selection, 13-8.
I mean, it was a very bold selection coming in from Winthrop University.